Most men today aren't free. They're owned by noise, owned by impulse. But silence is the first act of rebellion. Silence is war on weakness. It's where excuses die. It's where men are remade. Stick around and I'll show you how. Step by step, we're building stronger men, disciplined, grounded, and dangerous in all the right ways. I'm Seth McGilvery, and this is the Alpha Path. The world will try to distract you. Your battle is to remain undistracted. In every age, the enemy is the same: noise, distraction, the endless streams of demands pulling our attention outward when there's a battle to be fought within. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions than your own soul." But few ever make that journey because silence is hard. Stillness is hard. It reveals too much. It's so much easier to scroll our phones or watch TV, to chase stimulation, than to confront ourselves. Because what do we find in that silence? The truth, our insecurities, our regrets, our fear of being exposed. That's why most men avoid silence. It's not just uncomfortable, it's threatening. Because in the quiet, the mask slips. And the insecurities we've buried beneath distraction suddenly show their face. Distraction feels safer, gives us the illusion of control. Like if we stay busy enough, the cracks in our character will somehow heal themselves. But they never do. Silence creates discomfort because it reveals the real you, without distraction, without filters, without performance. Silence is a gift. Because until you face what's broken, you'll never fix it. Let me tell you a story. Back in 2010, my company was struggling. I was in the construction industry, still am, but the housing market collapse had gutted everything. I was down to 2 employees, 1 truck, and operating out of my house. I felt like I'd gone backwards, like I'd lost everything I'd built over the years. And it wasn't just financial, it was personal. I started questioning what it said about me as a man. Was I just lucky during the good years? Was I a fraud? Or was I just another victim? A small business owner helpless against a system that saves the banks but ignores the little guy? I'd been a Christian for about 8 years at that point. I gave faithfully, even generously, and I stewarded my money well. I avoided reckless risk. So why did it feel like I was being punished? Was God teaching me something that I wasn't picking up? Had he turned his back on me? Those were hard times, and I buried myself in things that looked good on the surface: training hard, staying busy with friends, grinding every day to keep my company alive. And sometimes I reached for worse ones, numbing myself with alcohol or zoning out with porn. Anything to escape what I didn't want to face. For better or worse, I did anything I could to avoid facing myself and those questions of my identity. Then I landed a project in Hawaii. It was an actual legit job. I flew out to meet the client and measure things up, but I tacked a few days on just to breathe. I hadn't had a break in years, and this was a chance to step back, to rest, and maybe even hear from God. I went into it hoping for something deep, a breakthrough, a vision, some revelation. But here's what I got. Silence. No vision. No big answer. No emotional breakthrough. Just stillness. And a funny thing happened. In that stillness, a calm assurance settled in. God wasn't gone. He wasn't punishing me. He hadn't left. He just wasn't showing me everything yet. And that became okay. He knew what I didn't. And that quiet confidence has carried me through far worse storms than that one. Because that's the point. Sometimes clarity only shows up when the noise dies down. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. That's what silence gives you. A still, small voice that tells you to keep going, that the struggle has meaning, that the story isn't finished. And if you stick with it, you'll see why it mattered. You weren't made to be distracted, and yet nearly everything around you is engineered to keep you that way. The average man checks his phone 344 times per day. That's once every 4 minutes he's awake. Under 50% of men under 30 say they feel anxious if they don't have their phone on them. In 2004, the average screen attention span was 2.5 minutes. Today, 47 seconds. In other words, in one generation, our ability to focus, even on the device that's distracting us, has collapsed, cut to 1/3 of what it once was. Think about it. How many times have you been watching a movie on your TV while checking social media, while texting your friends? You've done it. I've done it. We're not evolving, we're unraveling. We're getting dumber and more anxious and less focused than at any point in modern history. And it's not just about screen time, it's what happens to your brain. Scientists call it neuroplasticity. Your brain reshapes itself based on what you feed it. Constant distraction rewires your mind for short bursts of stimulation and trains you to avoid depth and discomfort and patience. Dr. Gloria Mark found that most people switch tasks every 47 seconds, and nearly half the time, it's self-inflicted. You're not just being distracted, you're choosing it. And it gets worse. A UC Irvine study found that it takes over 23 minutes to recover focus after an interruption. So every buzz, ding, scroll, or tab switch trains you to be less focused, less patient, and more emotionally reactive. This is the cost of noise. You can't focus because you're constantly distracted. You can't think deeply because you're overstimulated. You can't embrace hardship because comfort and escape is right at your fingertips. You can't pray because your mind can't slow down. You can't lead others because you're barely leading yourself. And if you never silence the noise, you'll start to feel normal this way. Numb, sedated, comfortable. But underneath that comfort is decay, mental, spiritual, and emotional atrophy. This is what noise does to a man. It doesn't just distract him, it hollows him out. A man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls. Proverbs 25:28. That's the cost of distraction. In the quiet, you face what's real and who you really are. And that's where the work begins. That's why silence matters. It's not just a break from the chaos. It's the battlefield where your thoughts, your character, and your soul are won or lost. And the training ground isn't out there. It's in here, in the stillness, in the solitude, in the discipline of listening when there's nothing left to hear but your own excuses dying out. Mental toughness isn't a personality trait. It's a practice. In his book, Stillness is the Key, Ryan Holiday writes, if you want to be tougher, be tougher. That's what Marcus Aurelius meant when he said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. So, how do you do it? How do you take back your mind if you've never trained it to be still? Well, you start with discipline, not comfort, not vibes, not motivation, discipline. In the first hour of the day, start your day on purpose, not on autopilot. These early moments set the tone for your mindset, your relationships, and your ability to lead with clarity. So first, start each morning in the Bible, prayer, and silence. Even if you're not a Christian, this will help you. Let truth shape the start of your day. Number 2, make your bed and clean your room. Again, in silence. Let your mind wander. See where your thoughts take you. If you feel so led, pray through what you're thinking or worrying about. Number 3, define success for the day. What are 2 or 3 things that you can accomplish that would make it a good day? If you're so inclined, write it down. A workout, a walk, a task or objective at work. Uninterrupted time with family or friends. How about when you get home from your day? This is where most men slip into distraction and default. Isaiah warns men, In repentance and rest is your salvation. In quietness and trust is your strength, but you would have none of it. Isaiah 30:15. Don't be like these men who rejected quietness and rest. Choose discipline again, because how you end your day is just as important as how you started it. So first, put your phone away. In our house, we actually have a dedicated box where our phones go. That way, my time with my wife and my kids isn't being stolen by this device that drives a wedge between us and destroys our family. There isn't a family I've ever talked to that doesn't point to the phone as their main source of chaos and disagreement in the home. We set the tone for our families as men, and our kids follow what we're doing. How hypocritical if we complain our kids are addicted to screens as we model our addiction in front of them. Second, eat dinner together as a family. If you're single, try to do this with your roommates. Commit to eating and talking face to face. It's a simple way to reclaim real connection. And you'll be shocked at how quickly this becomes the best part of your day. Third, before bed, spend time in gratitude and prayer. Again, if you're single, do this alone. But if you've got a family, do this with them. In our house, we read from the Bible, we say what we're thankful for that day, we pray, and we sing a few songs together. It's wonderful. Fourth, read a chapter a day of something good for you. Classic fiction or nonfiction that teaches you something about yourself and the world. I found for me, a chapter is just perfect. Not too much, not too little. It's perfect. Guys, I get it. This isn't easy. It takes time to build up to this level of discipline. And I don't always hit the mark myself either. But this is the standard I've set for myself. And I'd rather fall short aiming high than never aim at all. Lamentations 3:26 and 28 says, "It is good that one should wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord. Let him sit alone in silence when it is laid on him." Silence isn't just retreat. It's where we meet God. It's where he speaks if we're willing to listen. If all you can do right now is start your day without picking up your phone and end your night with 10 minutes of silence and gratitude, then start there. Small wins stack up over time. One right habit today becomes 10 down the road. Strive for progress, not perfection. Then keep going. And listen, you'll feel awkward. You'll feel antsy. That's a good sign. It means you're resisting the current and doing something new and hard. You're retraining your mind to slow down and endure discomfort instead of escaping it. Mental toughness is like a muscle. You don't build it by talking about it or even watching inspirational videos on social media, including this one. You build it with reps. So choose the path of strength. Choose silence. Make war on every distraction pulling you away from what is honorable, true, and good. Do that, and you'll start to see what kind of man is underneath all the noise. Next episode, we'll sharpen the one weapon most men leave dull, your mind. You're building strength and discipline and leadership. But without mental clarity, none of it holds under pressure. So we'll explore how to think with conviction, how to cut through confusion, and how to lead with a mind that's dangerous in all the right ways. Subscribe to the Alpha Path.